You're probably looking at Gemini gems and custom GPTs, thinking they're basically the same product with different logos. And honestly, that's the mistake I made for months. I built gems like they were Google's copy of GPTs, and I left a massive amount of value on the table. Because here's the thing, nobody's telling you. In 2026, Google quietly split gems into two completely different products, and one of them isn't trying to be a GPT at all. So, in this video, welcome back to bitbiased.ai, where we do the research so you don't have to. Join our community of AI enthusiasts with our free weekly newsletter. Click the link in the description below to subscribe. You will get the key AI news, tools, and learning resources to stay ahead. I'll break down the real differences between Google Gems and OpenAI GPTs, what each one is actually built for, where each one wins, and which one you should be using for your workflow. By the end, you'll know exactly which tool fits your stack, so you stop wasting time on the wrong builder. First up, let's talk about what most people are still getting wrong about gems. What people get wrong about gems. Here's where it gets interesting. Google's own docs now describe gems as two completely separate things under the same umbrella. And almost every comparison video out there is still treating them as one product. A classic gem is what most people think of. A repeatable Gemini chat you've configured with a name, custom instructions, and optional knowledge sources like uploaded files, Google Drive files, or even Notebook LM notebooks. Think of it as a saved expert you can summon anytime. But then there's the second layer. Gems from Google Labs. And this is where Google starts playing a completely different game. These are powered by something called Opal, and they're not just saved chats. They're interactive mini-app workflows with step graphs, built-in tools, and shareable app-like interfaces. Wait until you see what these can do. OpenAI's GPTs. They've stayed in one lane. A single ChatGPT builder surface, but with richer documented metadata, explicit capability toggles, app and action integrations, version history, and of course, GPT store publishing. So the real comparison isn't gem versus GPT, classic gems versus GPTism, with a whole separate conversation about labs gems versus everything else. And once you see it that way, the entire decision gets a lot clearer. Decidimos where Google wins, where OpenAI wins. Let's cut through the noise. If I had to summarize this whole comparison in one sentence, Google's differentiator is ecosystem depth, and OpenAI's differentiator is builder formalism. Here's what that actually means in practice. Google's strength is everything around Workspace, Drive, Docs, Gmail, side panel deployment, Notebook LM integration, and workflow adjacency through Opal and Workspace Studio. If your work already lives inside Google's ecosystem, gems show up where the work already happens. They don't ask you to context switch. OpenAI, on the other hand, gives you a more structured builder. You get name, description, conversation starters, recommended model selection, explicit tool toggles, apps or actions, GPT store publishing, and documented version control. GPTs feel like small packaged products, and that matters if you want public discoverability or want to ship a custom AI to a wider audience. But here's the part that surprised me the most when I dug into the official docs. There are two consequential product differences almost nobody talks about, and they completely change how these tools behave over time. First, Google documents that classic gems can maintain context from past chats. OpenAI documents the exact opposite for GPTs. No saved memory, no custom instructions carried over, no previous conversations. Every single GPT conversation starts fresh. That's not a minor footnote. That's a fundamentally different relationship with the tool over weeks and months of use. Second, and this trips up a lot of builders, Google's classic gems don't expose a public per-gem API action or plugin manifest. Tool use comes ambient, from the Gemini app, connected apps, Workspace Studio, or Opal. OpenAI is the opposite. They explicitly document apps and actions, with actions requiring API details, auth, and an open API schema. So if you want to wire up a custom external API, GPTs are way more direct about it. Drop a comment below. Which of those two surprised you more? I'm genuinely curious. Demo 1. Building a research gem. Alright, theory's nice. Let's actually build something. The first gem I want to walk you through is a research assistant for AI and tech analysis. And this is a classic gem, not a labs gem. Because what I want is a reusable analyst persona, not a workflow app. I'm in Gemini on desktop right now. I'm going to click Explore Gems, then New Gem, and name this one Signal Scout. The naming matters more than you'd think. It's how you'll find it later, when you have a dozen of these. For the instructions, I'm using the exact pattern Google itself teaches for good gems. Persona, task, context, and format. I'm telling the gem it's an evidence-driven research analyst for a US tech audience. specifying that every answer should start with a 2 to 4 sentence main answer. Break the topic into claims, evidence, counterpoints, and caveats, and end with 3 sections: what seems true, what to verify, and best next questions. That structure is the secret sauce. A surprisingly large chunk of gem quality comes down to whether your instructions feel like a sharp operating manual or a mushy paragraph. Vague instructions get you vague outputs. Every time. Now here's where Google really pulls ahead. The knowledge section. I'm attaching a Drive research pack and a Notebook LM notebook. Google explicitly documents that Drive-linked docs and sheets will reflect their latest version inside the gem. That means if I update my source notes in Drive next week, this gem automatically gets the new version. No re-uploading, no resyncing. That's something GPTs simply can't do with their static knowledge files. Quick tip, and this one saved me from a lot of frustration. Google documents that previewing a gem does not autosave it. I cannot tell you how many times I've tweaked instructions, tested them, closed the tab, and lost everything. Always hit save explicitly. For testing, I run 3 prompts. One broad comparison question, one that only works if it uses the uploaded corpus, and one adversarial follow-up. What I'm really testing here isn't whether one answer looks smart. It's whether the gem follows my output template every single time. That's the difference between a gem that's useful and a gem you'll forget about in a week. Our Demo 2, Multimodal Image Analysis gem. Now let's shift gears, because this next one is where Gemini has a genuinely unfair advantage. Multimodality. The Gemini app already handles images, documents, audio, video, code folders, and even entire GitHub repos. And classic gems inherit all of that. So, building a multimodal analysis. Gem isn't a workaround. It's playing to Gemini's strongest hand. I'm creating one called Vision QA. The trick here, and this is the part most people skip, is giving it a repeatable analysis protocol instead of a vague analyze this image prompt. My instructions break every image into 5 passes. High-level description, visible text extraction via OCR, spatial layout interpretation, an uncertainty pass where it flags what it can't confidently see, and finally, recommended follow-up prompts. That 5-pass structure turns this gem into a real visual reviewer. Whether I drop in a chart screenshot, a product image, a receipt, or a UI mockup, I get a consistent output structure every time. Let me show you. I'll drop in a chart screenshot first and ask for OCR plus a skeptical chart interpretation. Notice how it doesn't just describe the chart. It tells me what claims the data does and does not actually support. That skepticism is built into the instructions. Then I'll switch to a UI screenshot and ask for accessibility feedback plus alt text. Same gem, totally different output mode, all driven by the same protocol. Here's the real-world unlock. Because Gemini lives in the Drive and Docs side panel, this visual specialist shows up wherever I'm already working. I'm not opening a new tab, copying an image, pasting it into a different app, and waiting for a response. The expert comes to the work. That's the Workspace native advantage in one demo. Quick safety note though, and this one's important if you ever plan to share a gem. Google documents that anyone with access to a shared gem can see the gem's instructions and the uploaded knowledge files. So please don't stuff a shareable gem full of sensitive screenshots, customer dashboards, or proprietary mockups. Strip that stuff out before you share, or keep the gem private. Demo 3, the workflow automation gem, where Google stops being boring. Okay, this is the demo I've been waiting to show you, because this is where Google stops looking like just another custom bot builder and starts looking like something genuinely new. For workflow automation, I'm not using a classic gem. I'm using a gem from Google Labs, powered by Opal. Google explicitly says classic gems are for repeatable expert chats, and Labs gems are for interactive mini apps and custom workflows. 2 different jobs, 2 different tools. Here's the goal of this Labs gem. I'm going to build a mini app that takes an uploaded project brief and turns it into 2 deliverables, a clean action item table and a stakeholder-ready status update. I'm clicking gems, then my gems from Labs, then new gem. Google notes a few things up front. This feature is currently in the Gemini web app, English only, desktop only. Worth flagging if your audience uses mobile or other languages. Describe my workflow in plain English. I want a mini app that accepts a project brief as text or file, extracts the scope, generates a task table with owner and risk columns, and drafts a stakeholder update using my style guide. That's it. Opal generates a first draft workflow from that description. And now this is the moment. Look at the visual editor. You can literally see the mini app as a step graph. A user input step, a couple of generate steps, and output steps. This is something classic GPT-style saved assistants simply are not trying to be. Inside Opal, I can edit each step with natural language, or click into the visual editor for fine control. I can add static assets like my style guide. I can reference tools using the A symbol. And this is the part developers will love. There's a console where I can inspect each step's model inputs, outputs, and tool calls. It's basically a debugger for AI workflows. When I'm done, I hit Start App, upload a sample brief, and watch the workflow run end to end. Action table on one side, stakeholder update on the other. And if I want to share it, I can publish an app link or keep it completely private. Here's the strategic insight, and this is what made the whole picture click for me. Google is quietly converging 3 layers under one umbrella. Classic Gems for the saved prompting layer, Labs Gems for the mini app workflow layer, and Workspace Studio's Ask a Gem for organization-level automation. OpenAI still presents these as 3 separate things: saved GPTs, the GPT store, and the broader API. So when people ask, is Google catching up to OpenAI? That's the wrong question. Google isn't trying to make a better GPT. Google is trying to make AI native to how people actually work inside Google's stack. My verdict: which one should you use? All right, after months of using both, here's my honest verdict. Use Google Gems when your world already lives in Google. If you're in Drive, Gmail, Docs, and Notebook LM all day, Gems require almost zero conceptual translation. They show up in the side panel, they ground on your actual files, and they update with your Drive. And if you need workflow-style automation, Labs Gems and Opal give you something GPTs just don't offer: visual workflow building. Use OpenAI GPTs when you want stronger builder packaging, public discovery, GPT store distribution, or more explicit external API plumbing through actions. GPTs feel more like small packaged products you can ship to the world. If your goal is reach or monetization through the store, that's still GPT territory. The biggest mental shift I'd offer is this: stop comparing Gemini versus ChatGPT and start comparing ecosystems. Google's bet is workflow-native AI inside productivity. OpenAI's bet is a marketplace of packaged AI products. Both are right, but they're optimizing for completely different end states. And honestly, most serious creators I know are using both. A research GPT for public sharing, a classic gem for drive-grounded work, and Labs Gems for internal workflows. The best tool answer is almost never one tool. If you want the 3 gem templates I built in this video, the Research Gem, the Vision QA Image Analysis Gem, and the Brief to Deliverables Workflow Config, there's a free download in the description. Plug and play, copy and paste, ready to go. And if you want more honest AI tool teardowns that go past the marketing hype, hit subscribe, because the next obvious question is whether Google's Workspace native AI stack is now genuinely more useful than the GPT ecosystem for real knowledge work. That comparison is coming up next, and the answer surprised me. I'll see you in the next one.